Welcome back. You can criticize me, insult me, or whatever comes to mind, but I need to take this weight off my shoulders. A few weeks ago, I, 35 female, made this mistake. My partner, 34 male, and I weren't doing very well at that time. He spent all his time working, and I felt very lonely and neglected. I needed a lot of things from my boyfriend, physical affection and emotional support. But I feel at that time I didn't get them since, as I mentioned earlier, he was very busy working. One day, I was alone, and to spend the day, I went to visit a friend at his house. Everything was going well. We were talking and eating junk until he came up to kiss me. So many thoughts were going through my mind all at once, about my partner and that I should be faithful to him. But my sexual appetite was stronger and, what you guess happened. After that, I went home and lost all contact with him. I was not going to let myself be tempted again. So I started avoiding other men except my partner. I was determined not to let the same mistake repeat again. Strangely enough, after that encounter, our relationship began to improve. We spent more time together, and I made an effort to be a better partner to him. I did all the housework without complaining, meal prepping, etc., and was available to him when he got home after a long day. Basically playing the role of a 50s housewife to a T. Then one day, while out grocery shopping, I ran into the friend. He was apologetic about what happened and requested that we at least remain friends, though he implied he wanted more. That he had always wanted more. Now this was the second time I screwed up. I agreed, even knowing what his intentions were. And a few days later, a repeat occurrence occurred, this time at my place on my marital bed. I felt disgusted afterwards. I felt like I effectually desecrated my marriage, on our bed no less. I sent my friend away and called my partner and told him to come home immediately. He was worried and rushed home immediately. He found me a mess, trying to cut myself with a kitchen knife. He snatched the knife from me, and I told him the whole story, sobbing hard. He looked ashen throughout my confession, and I saw so many emotions flit through his face. He asked some questions to verify the details and took our car out for a drive to clear his mind. I laid on the kitchen floor for hours waiting for him to come back. He came close to midnight and, without saying anything, went to our room and slammed the door. I slept on the kitchen floor that night. I've never self-harmed before, but I contemplated it that night, if it meant I get to stay in my relationship with my boyfriend. But he had other plans. The next day, he went out without so much as a good morning. He never returned my calls, nor replied to my messages. I spent the day a wreck. At about 10 on, he came in, but not alone, with a drunk young woman and went into our room. He didn't talk to me nor acknowledge me in any way, even when I tried to talk to him. He spent the night with the woman inside our room, on our bed, and all I could do was sob from the outside listening to what they were doing. It's been over a week, and every day it's been the same. Each day he would bring a different woman and desecrate our bed. He hasn't spoken a word to me in the whole week. I know what I did. Deserves no forgiveness, nor do I seek to play the victim in the face of the situation. I am guilty. I know it very well, but I do not deserve this. This is breaking me. I feel I'm going insane. Please help me out. What do I do? How do I get him to understand that I'm a human being with feelings too? Update. Hello, so I did receive a lot of tough love. I guess. Here's what went down. Yesterday, when he brought his new hoe home, I intercepted them before they sneaked off to the bedroom. I demanded we talk, that this is no way to treat me despite what I did. Things got heated, and the gist is basically he said I can do whatever. I can go wherever, that he won't give a flying fudge. So yeah, we're over. I'm packing. Hopefully I'll be out before he brings his new hoe over tonight. Comments. Girl, you dodged a bullet there. He's a cold-hearted bee-slang. I mean, yes, what you did is wrong, there's no mistake about that. But his reaction is to desecrate your relationship with daily hookups? That's not a man I would touch with a 10-foot pole. No thanks. The important thing is that you did not justify that mistake, so it is forgiven. Especially when you sought to amend it even when he had not found out yet. You came clean, you bared your soul. However, he failed to prove that he really loves you by forgiving you even knowing what you did. He failed at that. Sometimes our worst mistakes could be blessings in disguise. Consider this as such and move on. Story 2. A year ago, I was in a difficult mental state. My relationship with my boyfriend of 3 years had its challenges, but I believed it was just a temporary rough patch. Things started to improve, and I felt genuinely happy again. One day, my boyfriend was not at home, but I went to hang out with his roommate, who's also a close friend. We were playing a drinking game, and during that time, his roommate confessed to having feelings for me for a long time. After that point, my memory becomes blurry, and I can't recall exactly what happened. However, I am certain that something inappropriate occurred between us. I don't have the courage to confront him and ask for details about that night. The next morning, I don't remember my exact actions, but I do recall feeling a deep sense of self-disgust instead of sadness. I lost my appetite. I felt physically weak to the point that I couldn't stand. Despite the intense emotions, I chose to tell my boyfriend everything because I love him and I didn't want to deceive him. He asked for a couple of days to think, and after 2 days of silence, he requested that I come over. He had packed my belongings from his apartment. We cried, attempted to laugh since we were best friends, but the pain was too overwhelming for lightheartedness. It has been a year, and every night I still feel nauseous. I used to be someone who volunteered on weekends, helped friends unconditionally, and supported my family in any way possible. I always believed I was a good person. Now, regardless of my actions, I'm fully aware that I am a terrible person. I despise myself, and I believe I deserve this self-hatred. There are nights when I go to bed without wanting to wake up, convinced that the world would be better off without me. I often cry myself to sleep, previously every other day, but now it's less frequent, although I feel like I deserve to cry more. My ex-boyfriend is doing well. We remain close friends, meeting up for dinner once a week to catch up since we live nearby. We have a strong friendship because we've known each other our whole lives. I'm genuinely happy that he's thriving, studying diligently, and involved in numerous projects. On the other hand, I feel an overwhelming emptiness inside. I miss him and I still love him, but I won't burden him with that knowledge. However, I am willing to accept the pain of crying myself to sleep because I believe I deserve it. My self-hatred has reached a point where I feel tempted to harm myself physically, although I have not acted upon it yet. 2 guys have asked me out since last year, both of whom are great and have potential for a relationship, but I turned them down because I don't believe I deserve any happiness. I consider myself a bad person, and they deserve someone better than me. I don't want to wake up tomorrow. I'm posting here because I need to know if what I'm experiencing is normal. I've lost all confidence in myself, no longer believing in my abilities and viewing myself as worse than worthless. It has been a year, and I still experience nausea most nights. I'm disgusted with myself, genuinely convinced that I don't deserve love or anything positive. I find myself distancing from my friends because I believe they deserve much more than the despicable person I perceive myself to be. Today, when a friend asked me, "What do you like most about yourself?" I realized that there's nothing I like about myself anymore after what happened a year ago. Absolutely nothing. Is what I'm feeling normal? I miss my boyfriend. I miss him so much that I have nightmares about the situation. If I could change the past, believe me, I would. Rather than hating yourself, it's important to recognize that feeling guilty is a sign of your normal human conscience and moral compass. It shows that you have a sense of right and wrong. Instead of viewing yourself as the person you fear becoming, remind yourself that you are not defined solely by this mistake. It's essential to understand that you are not akin to those who engage in deceitful behavior by maintaining multiple long-term relationships simultaneously. You made a mistake, but it doesn't define you entirely. Practice self-forgiveness and let go of the negativity that's holding you back. Exploring mindfulness meditation or similar techniques focused on living in the present moment can be helpful in this process. Comments. Listen to someone who's gone through a similar experience. I also believed I was a good person, but I ended up cheating on my ex, which led me down a destructive path of self-harm and even attempted suicide. However, after 7 years, I've grown and learned from my past mistake. I now consider myself a good person who's committed and faithful in my current healthy relationship with my boyfriend of 5 years. Therapy is essential for your healing and growth. It can provide you with the necessary support and guidance to navigate through these difficult emotions and help you build a healthier future. Even good people can make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. The important thing is that you had the honesty and courage to tell your boyfriend about what happened, and that you still feel guilt over it. This shows that you're not a monster and you recognize your mistake. While you messed up, it doesn't mean you're unworthy of happiness and love. Just like most people, you deserve forgiveness, growth, and the opportunity to move forward.